Hello and welcome to Catholic Answers Live. I'm Cy Kellett, your host. Great show today. 2 hours with two of the finest apologists in the world. You can ask anything you want. So open forum. This hour, Tim Staples. Next hour, Jimmy Akin. 888-318-7884. I'm going to try to beat that anywhere. Try to beat that anywhere. An hour with Tim Staples followed by an hour with Jimmy Akin. 888-318-7884. And dial now or remember the number because I'm not going to be giving it out a lot. I got to give out a different phone number this hour. So here it is. One more last time. If you've got a question about the Catholic faith, about Catholic people, Catholic history, Catholic teachings, 888-318-7884. And you probably guessed why I'm going to be giving out that other number. We got to raise some money today. We do it 4 times a year. And we'll just interrupt the show a bit. We will try to continue to just do what we always do. Let Tim do what he always does. Tim Staples, thanks for being here with us. Welcome back.
Man, it's good to be in the studio with Cy Kellett.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's good. Really good to have you back here.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. You're traveling so much the last 2-3 months.
Well, you know, the first 6 months of the year, I was down, so I couldn't travel.
Yeah.
And now that my doctors let me back on the road, I told Jen I'm going to take everything.
Yeah, just send me there, yeah.
And it's been fantastic. You know, I just came from Montana, Billings, Montana, where it was snowing and oh, man, we're talking cold, brother. A foot of snow the first night I was there.
Wow.
Wonderful folks, but just awesome to be on the road. But you know what? It's awesome to be here right now because we need to raise some money. Am I allowed to say the number this soon?
Yes, please do.
The number, folks, is 888-291-8000, or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. We've got to raise some money. And, folks, I say this a lot, but I don't think it's ever been more true, Cy Kellett, to say that there's never been a time in our lifetimes where the gospel of Jesus Christ is more needed than right now.
Nope.
The fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ that we alone possess as Catholics. And folks, we need your help because this is what we're about here at Catholic Answers. We present the gospel unashamedly, without compromise, the fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And let me tell you, as one who has been traveling literally all over the world in the last few months, literally, folks, I'm seeing and hearing from people whose lives have been changed as a result of this broadcast. It is awesome, but folks, we cannot remain on the air without your help. And now we're coming to you. We come to you every day. You know that. Cy Kellett, all the guests, we come to you every day to bring you the gospel. Now we're asking you. We need your help to keep us on the air. Please, folks, let's not wait till the end of the broadcast.
No.
Let's do it right now. 888-291-8000. We need to hear from you. We need those monthly donors, man, that $25 a month gift, that $100 a month gift, $5 a month gift, folks. Really, we don't just say this, folks. Any dollar amount is how we get it done here. This is how we stay on the air, is you guys calling in right now and giving that donation.
They're not dumb, though, our listeners. They know that we're about to mention a match, so they're waiting to call until they hear the match money. And there's a $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match this hour. $20,000. So we match it all, we get it all is how it works. 888-291-8000. We know there's going to be a last caller to the pledge drive. We never know for sure if there's going to be a first caller. So that could be you. We need those first callers right now. We've got 13 of our colleagues on phones. That's how it works around here. It's our colleagues. We don't outsource the answering of the phones. When you call, you'll be talking to somebody in this building or connected to this building. They might be at home, but they'll be answering the phone, and they are our colleagues. They're the folks we work with. They want to talk with you, but they'll get you through quick if you want to get through quick. So they'll take the time to talk if you want to talk or get you through quick. 888-291-8000 is the number. $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match. 13 lines open, and we're waiting for our first call. There it is. There's the first call. Okay, pledge drive started. We can go to the phones and get some questions for Tim. We'll tell you more about what kind of gifts we're able to give away, but you can ask the folks on the line as well, and they'll help you with what the gifts are and the giving levels. You can do it yourself. You can make the pledge yourself, whether it's one-time pledge or a monthly pledge that you want to do. You can do that at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can just text 24365 because we love Jesus 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Or you can make that call. We got one person on the phone right now, and that means 12 people waiting for a call right now. 888-291-8000. Oh, the numbers are going up. We got 16 of our colleagues on the line now. 888-291-8000. You feel like working, Tim?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, we'll go to the phones then. And for this first one, I'm going to need your help, Darren. Put them on the line for me. Let's go to Texas. Kara calling from Texas. Go ahead with your question, Kara.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I've been listening forever, and I know kind of a lot of your the defense for Mary's perpetual virginity.
Yes.
But I was at a Bible study, and this guy was saying how in Catholic circles there's lots of proof that she was not a virgin. And so, have you ever heard that before? And
Right.
are there any other things that I can do to talk to a Catholic to help them with get over this?
Sure. Well, if it depends upon who the Catholic is you're talking about, but yeah, we have lots of folks who call themselves Catholic, and some of them in very high places today. Oh, we won't go there, Cy Kellett, who say they're Catholic, but they're actually not in full communion with the Catholic Church. Kara, you and I know that Mary's perpetual virginity is an infallible teaching of the Church taught by the Second Council of Constantinople, for example, in 553 A.D. It has been taught by the universal and ordinary magisterium of the Church basically for 2,000 years. So this is an infallible teaching of the Church. And a couple of things you can help folks with. And I recommend, Carrie, you get a hold of my book, Behold Your Mother, a biblical and historical approach in defending all of the Marian doctrines. And I give in that book 8 reasons for the perpetual virginity of Mary. I'll just throw out 2 real quick. Biblically speaking, the first comes right from Luke chapter 1, verse 34, when the angel Gabriel comes down to Mary and announces she is being called to be the mother of God, the mother of the Messiah, whose kingdom shall have no end. What is her response? How shall this be, for I know not man? There you have, and a lot of folks don't realize this, but all the way back, St. Athanasius, St. Jerome, St. Augustine, so many of the great fathers of the Church declared that the question betrays the vow. In other words, the angel announces she's going to have a child, and Mary says, how is this going to happen? Because I know not man. Now, when you understand she was already married, she already had what we would call a ratified union with St. Joseph, the question doesn't make sense because, look, if you're on your wedding night, let's say, or right after your marriage and somebody says you're going to have a child, that wouldn't be a surprise. Why is it a surprise to her? It's because of her vow. That's why the great St. Jerome said the question betrays the vow. So the fact that she says, how are you going to do this? She never doubted it was going to happen. But she said she had a good biological question. How shall this be? For I know not man, indicates her perpetual virginity. And of course, the angel responds, I'll tell you how. The power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, that Holy One which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God. So there you have a biblical positive reason for Mary's perpetual virginity. But a second, real quick, is really rooted in Jewish tradition and Jewish understanding. Because when you understand the context that Mary is already, like I said, she has a ratified union with Joseph and she comes up pregnant. Joseph knew he had to divorce her because Deuteronomy 24, 1-4 tells you that if an espoused woman comes up pregnant, guess what? You have to divorce her, right? And in fact, if that woman goes with whoever it is that she is now with, marries, the man dies, she could never go back to her former spouse and never have conjugal relations with her again. It's a weird custom for us, but in a tribal setting in the Old Testament, there were reasons for this, because when you start passing a woman around, especially intertribally, you can end up with genocide as a result. So there were actually reasons behind that rule. But the point is, Joseph would have known when she is pregnant by another that she belongs to him. Well, he didn't know at the time who that him was, but the angel tells her. Remember, the angel tells Joseph when he's ready to divorce her, fear not to take Mary, your wife. Why? Because the Holy One which is conceived of her is conceived of the Holy Spirit. There, Joseph knew there was a very important loophole in the Old Testament when it comes to receiving back into your home a former spouse in the context of her becoming impregnated by another or being married to another. And that case is found in the Old Testament in 2 Samuel chapter 16 and chapter 20. If you remember the story where David's son Absalom tried to usurp his father's throne, and one way he did that, kind of the coup d'etat, was to take 10 of David's wives from him. And the scripture says he slept with them before all Israel. In other words, let it be known. But then, of course, Absalom died an ignominious death. And what do we see in chapter 20, verse 3? After that, David then calls for those wives to be brought back into his home. However, he could never have conjugal relations with them again. Why? Because they belonged to Absalom. But he, as the first spouse, had a responsibility to take care of them. Therefore, he brought them into his home, but he could never have conjugal relations. St. Joseph would have known exactly what the angel was saying, being the righteous man that he was, when the angel says, fear not to take Mary, your wife. Why? Because the child is born of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit can't take Mary into his home, can't sign census papers, can't protect Mary from a mob who wants to stone her for being pregnant outside of marriage. Hence, Joseph knows what's up. That's just 2 examples among the 8 I give in my book for the perpetual virginity of Mary. There are many, many more. But folks, this is one of the reasons why we need you to call right now. We've only had 3 callers right now, and we have 20,000. Last time I was here, I think it was 15,000, wasn't it?
A $20,000 match.
We've got an extra $20,000 on this hour, folks, and we need you to call right now at 888-291-8000. When I was on the road, it really hit me, Si. One of the reasons why, folks, you need to support Catholic Answers right now at 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You know, I was doing a talk in Billings, Montana, and we got into a conversation on how the Catholic Church, uniquely among all Christian bodies on this planet, has the fullness of the understanding of the nature of the law of God. Look at abortion. There's not a single Protestant denomination today in the entire world that is fully and absolutely pro-life. Even the Southern Baptists allow for abortion in the case of the life of the mother. The Orthodox are the only ones that stand with us on abortion in the fullness of sense. But when it comes to contraception, depends upon which bishop you're talking to, depends who you're talking to, and on down the list, my friend, when it comes to the defense of the moral law. And didn't that come to the fore in this last election, Cy Kellett, how we need men and women to stand up for the defenseless unborn, for example. Folks, there is only one voice on this earth that prophetically is speaking for God when it comes to these most important issues, and that's the Catholic Church. And folks, Catholic Answers Live, we defend it to the utmost. We need your help, though, right now. Please, folks, we need some of you to get on that phone right now at 888-291-8000. If you're already a donor, you're already given $25 a month, consider upping that to $50 a month, because we're falling way behind on our $20,000 goal right now. This is the biggest I've seen since I've been doing this, Cy Kellett. This is the biggest match we have seen, and we're way behind. Folks, can you help us to continue to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ, the fullness of the gospel? Please, right now, don't wait. Pick up the phone. It's 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Or remember, you can text Catholic to 24 365.
888-291-8000. Please pick up that phone and call. There are lots of folks in this building waiting to take the call, and the earlier you call, the better, because that leaves more of them open on that last day of the pledge drive that can be quite stressful and can stress the line. So if you can call now, if you're thinking of making your pledge, calling now would be very, very helpful to us. As Tim said, we have that $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match this hour. Pick up the phone, 888-291-8000. Give us a call and help us use up some of that. And right now, we are $17,250 away from meeting that match.
Goodness.
$17,250 away. We can do it with your help. 888-291-8000. As Tim said, you can go safe and secure online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com, or just text the word Catholic to 24365. 888-291-8000. We only come to you 4 times a year to ask you for your support. We only do so 6 hours each time, and we don't use all of those 6 hours. And so far, for 25 years, that has worked, and we've been able to keep this radio program on the air. And so we come to you again with great confidence, but also with a genuine need. This is how we finance this apostolate for the next 3 months. 888-291-8000 is the way you can call, the way you can become a member of the Catholic Answers family if you haven't been before. I'll tell you about the different giving levels in just a minute. But this is something, Catholic Answers, we give this radio program away free to wherever you're listening to it right now. It's given away free to wherever you're listening right now.
Amen.
So you got to support them, the people who are broadcasting this wherever you're listening. But in order to keep this show going, we need your help. We need your support. 888-291-8000 is the number to call. Tim, I'm going to go back to the phones.
Let's do it.
Just want to read you a nice note on Facebook from Victoria, and it's very nice, Victoria, to get this message today as we're attempting to raise the money to stay on the air for the next 3 months. Hi, guys. I love your show. I'm calling and listening in Niagara Falls, Ontario. I'm a convert from Lutheranism. Your show helps me understand more of the Catholic faith. Victoria, thank you. Thank you very much. A very timely comment, one that I hope will inspire other folks to see the value in the show and give. But let's go back to the phones. We'll do our regular job. Again, you can call right now, 888-291-8000. On the line next for our guest, Tim Staples, is Raquel in Michigan, watching on YouTube. Raquel, we're glad you're here. Go ahead with your question for Tim.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking my call. I have 3 young children, 6, 5, and 3, all baptized, all have godparents.
Yes.
Since then, I've grown so much in my faith and come to realize the true importance of the roles of Godmother and Godfather.
Yes.
Could I appoint new godparents for my children, because I was ignorant to the fact that godparents have a very important role for the child's life to lead them on the path to following Jesus Christ.
Right.
And the current godparents cannot fulfill that role because they have fallen out of practice of the Catholic faith.
Gotcha, Raquel. Great question. And unfortunately, the answer is no. There can be no redo when it comes to the sacrament of baptism. Think of it this way. Once a child is baptized, that is a once and for all baptism. If the child is to fall away and come back, they don't have to be re-baptized. This is such a sacred moment. It is once and for all. And so it is with the case of godparents. There can be no redo. The godparents are the godparents. And for those of you listening, that's why it is so important that we make good choices when it comes to those godparents. So what I suggest to folks like you, Raquel, and this is not uncommon, where godparents, leave the faith or something like that, pray for those godparents. You have added incentive now, right, to pray for them that they come back to the faith so that they can be good godparents. In the same way that if a parent of a child falls away from the faith, they can't just get new parents. We have to really pray for those parents. It's such an important role that they come back to the faith so they can lead their children. So Raquel, pray, pray, pray. And remember, your children have guardian angels, and they have a host of angels. We cannot even imagine the numbers of angels that are in this studio right now, hovering above Cy Kellett's head and all of our heads. We've got so many unseen among that are praying for us. And how about the family of God here on earth as well, and our family members? So we should all pray for each other, for our children, that we can raise them in the faith. So Raquel, thanks for your call, and God bless you all for calling. I notice we do have some more calls coming in, but folks, we have 8 open lines right now. And I have to get back on this because it's burning in my heart, Cy. You know, as I said when I was in Billings, just it hitting me how important it is that we talk about the gospel being proclaimed, but we're the only ones that have the fullness of that gospel, Cy Kellett. We're the only ones that are proclaiming, standing strong when it comes to transgender, when it comes to religious liberty that's being attacked. It is the Catholic Church. When it comes to embryonic stem cell research, human cloning, when it comes to euthanasia, when it comes to physician-assisted suicide and abortion, and all of the issues we're talking about, it is the Catholic Church alone that stands in the gap between a living and thriving country and chaos. And we are descending, Cy Kellett, into chaos as a culture.
Yep.
And there's one voice on this planet that is a voice for sanity, and that is the voice of the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. Folks, this is a priceless gift we have. How much money would you give for the faith? Of course, there's no amount of money you can give for the faith because it's freely given. But folks, in order for us to remain proclaiming the gospel as we are and seeing thousands of lives changed as a result, we really do need your help now. And you guys are making me nervous because we've got way too many open lines. Can you pick up the phone right now? Maybe you've thought about it the last several drives and you should have. I want you to do it now. Pick up the phone, 888-291-8000, 888-291-8000. Remember, you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can text Catholic to 24365. And Cy, I couldn't help but to notice.
I know. That's a number I wanted to talk to you about. 13.
13 donors per tower, but isn't that down?
That's quite a bit down. Yeah, we just did the calculation today, and we were surprised that it was 13.
We are down right now per tower, folks, to 13 donors per tower. And that hurts my heart. But, folks, come on. If we could get that up to, say, 16 donors per tower, that would change everything here at Catholic Answers. Can you be one of those extra 3 on your tower right now? It will change everything. And I'm talking about giving a $25 one-time gift, a $100 one-time gift, that $25 a month. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, folks. I guarantee you there's somebody, because we need you now. We are way behind our $20,000 match right now. Is there somebody out there that can write a check for $10,000? I need to hear from you. We need to hear from you right now. We need that $10,000 gift. We need that $5,000 gift, and we need some $1,000 gifts. Can you pick up the phone right now at 888-291-8000? How much would you give for the salvation of souls, if that were possible? Well, folks, keeping us on the air, I will guarantee you, will result in the salvation of souls.
888-291-8000 is the number. You can call and talk with our colleagues right here in the building, some of whom I can see from where I am sitting right now. They're all willing to take your calls. They'd love to talk with you if you want to tell them why you're giving or what your relationship with Catholic Answers Live is. They'd be happy to talk with you. Maybe you have some questions about the apostolate. They'd be happy to talk with you about that. But maybe you're one of those folks like so many of us. I only have about 90 seconds to get this done. Can we just get it done? Yep. Let them know that. They'll get you done. Let me before we go back to the phones with Tim, I just want to let you know about the different giving levels. We have a $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match right now, and we have $15,000 left to go to use up that match. $15,000 left to go. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000 is the number. All right, if you can come in at $10 a month, you're a member of our giving society called Society 315, which is new and has become really quite a success story. We've had a lot of fun with the folks at Society 315. We try to send free stuff. If the day you join, we're gonna send out a welcome box that you'll receive, and then you're going to get a box that contains the Society 315 T-shirt, the car magnet for Catholic Answers, a coupon code to use over at the Catholic Answers shop, and then we'll try to keep sending you stuff several times a year. Maybe interviews we did that are not generally available, or there's a good lecture that we had, or we've even had people come virtually, through Zoom or whatnot, on retreat with us, and it's a lot of fun. $10 a month makes you a member of Society 315. At $20 a month, you will be a member of Society 315, and we'll, in addition, be able to send you the new book from Don Johnson called Twisted Unto Destruction. Twisted Unto Destruction, about the damage to society that comes from the Sola Scriptura ideology. At $45 a month, we'll add A Daily Defense from Jimmy Akin, the great book from Jimmy Akin, A Daily Defense. And then at $84 a month, you get all that, but you become a member of our President's Club, which I will tell you about in a little bit. Or at $417 a month, you become a member of our Founders Circle. We'll invite you to our Founders Circle weekend. And what are you looking at there, Tim? You want to talk about when we come back right after?
Yeah, I think when we come back.
All right, Tim's got some big news. I can see just the look on his face. He's got some big news. 888-291-8000 is the number. 888-291-8000. A long way to go. We got to raise $225,000 to be on the air for the next 3 months, but with your help, we'll get there right after this.
Will you do us a favor right now? Clear your mind of all other thoughts and reflect for just a moment on how Catholic Answers Live has made a difference in your life. Has our broadcast made your afternoon commute more meaningful? Perhaps you've learned how to explain the faith to family or friends in a more vibrant, convincing way. Something you heard here may have been just the thing you needed to look into joining or returning to the Catholic faith. All of these are serious reasons to be thankful, first and foremost to God, but also to all who have financially made it possible for us to air the show each day. Believe me, our gratitude could not be deeper. And we're coming to you today during our quarterly membership drive, asking you to join the ranks of the great people whose gifts and sacrifices have helped to turn around countless lives over the years, and, very possibly, helped make an eternal difference for many of them. Think about that for a moment. That's what your prayers and donations to Catholic Answers Live are doing. What a tremendous opportunity is being presented to you right now. Please don't let it pass you by. Call 888-291-8000 or visit CatholicAnswersRadio.com and let one of our fast, friendly customer service team members take your pledge. Large or small, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you call right now. Again, it's 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. We're offering some great appreciation gifts that are sure to deepen your faith life even more. But what's best is you'll have the confidence that when you turn your radio on tomorrow or next week or 12 days from now, we'll be here, boldly and charitably presenting the truth to a world that's searching for precisely that. Your pledge is vital to keeping Catholic Answers Live on the air. Will you make the call today to 888-291-8000 or donate securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com? Thank you so much in advance. God bless you.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. I'm Cy Kellett, your host. Tim Staples, our guest this hour. Jimmy Akin, our guest the next hour. Both hours open forum. And also, we'll take a little bit of the time each hour to ask you to support this apostolate, this ministry of explaining and defending the Catholic faith. Also, we do plenty of celebrating the Catholic faith and sharing and evangelizing and all that. And we love doing it.
Amen.
And we think it's, I feel I have no problem asking for support because I think it's the most important thing in the world, sharing the Catholic faith, sharing the love of Jesus, the love of the Father made manifest in Jesus, and the sacraments of the church, the community of the church. the beautiful, the wonderful moral teachings of the church. All of that means so much.
Amen.
And we need it right now. Man, do we need it. So I'm happy to ask you for your help. We have a $20,000 match right now for this hour. 888-291-8000 is the number to call. 888-291-8000. And we'll just ask you 4 times a year, and that means this time we'll be funding this apostolate for the next 3 months, and then 3 months from now we'll fund it again. It costs $225,000 total to do that. If you want to give that whole amount right now, we'll just stop the pledge drive. We'll just go ahead. We will have to verify that the check's got clear, but we'll take it. But you, Tim Staples, were looking all happy like the Cheshire Cat just before we went to the break.
You know what? I just got this sense that, and I guess I'm kind of transparent, ain't I? I mean, just that I'm seeing the phones start to light up, and folks are coming in. We're getting lots of testimonies here, and it's just so exciting. I wanted to thank you all right here. I know we're just getting started, but I just wanted to thank you all, our faithful listeners and supporters over all the years. You guys are absolutely awesome. And so often, Side knows this, I start panicking because I think we're not going to make it, and you guys always come through for us.
But the panic is genuine. I think people should know that. Like, yes. We have to talk Tim down.
That's right. But I just wanted to mention this, that for everyone who has given, and I know there are folks on the line right now, and we need you, folks. We've still got a ways to go before we get to our $20,000 match. And, of course, we've got a long way to go to get to our $225,000 goal. But I just want to say this, that when we say to you guys, you know, we're down. We're actually down. That kind of gets me down, Cy Kellett, when we go from 16 donors a tower, and then we're down now to 13 donors
per
tower. You know, that hurts. And if we can get that up, man, we will be able to do so much more of the things that we want to do that we can't because of a lack of finances, I'll tell you. But most importantly, stay on the air, okay, because we need you. But folks, I know you are coming through, and you will. And mark my words, 2 Corinthians chapter 9, St. Paul says God loves a cheerful giver, right? He says to the Corinthians, you know, we don't tithe in the New Testament. You know that. That's an Old Testament practice. It's a good rule of thumb. We use the word tithe, but we don't believe in giving a legalistic 10%. We believe in giving 100%. Jesus said we give 100. You know, what matters is not what you give so much as what you keep. We should be, and that's what Paul says to the Corinthians, cheerful givers. We should be excited about the opportunity to have our giving participate in the renewal of the world through the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I will guarantee you, those of you that give, you will be blessed. And I believe, as David said in Psalm 23, we will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living, as well as, of course, we will be rewarded for all eternity. So, folks, please do keep calling. Forgive me for this interlude here, Cy, but folks, call. I will guarantee you, you will not be sorry on Judgment Day that you called and gave that $1,000. And there's somebody out there right now, you can give that $5,000 gift, that $1,000 gift, no problem. And there are a lot of folks who can give that $25 a month or that one-time $25 gift. Folks, between the lot of you, we should have full lines right now. Please pick up the phone. 888-291-8000. That's 888-291-8000. Or remember, you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic to 24365.
I can't believe I went a whole half hour and didn't mention a very important thing, and I've just been reminded to mention it. That is, we have the $20,000 dollar for dollar match this hour. That means everything that in any amount you give is going to be matched dollar for dollar up to $20,000. But we have another match, Tim, and I forgot that I was supposed to say it.
No way.
We have for those who are new monthly donors.
Okay.
It'll be matched again. So basically,
What?
your money is tripled. If you're a new monthly donor and you give, say, $10 a month, it'll be matched by the hourly match. But then there's this other match that we have,
goodness.
and I didn't even mention it. I guess I got myself all keyed up and nervous. So let me just give you an example. Monica in Canton gave $25 a month. She's a new monthly giver. So actually, Monica didn't even know this because I didn't tell her, but that's getting matched twice. So for us, that's $75 a month. And the most important thing is that Monica said she loves Catholic Answers Live. That's the most important part of that whole thing.
Her $300 a month becomes $900. I mean, a year.
Yes, I was
Three-
going to say,
not month.
you just shocked Monica.
Her $300 a year becomes $900.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Folks, that is awesome. So keep calling, folks. Give that. Look, there's how many out there right now that can give $10 a month?
Yep.
Can give $25 a month. Come on, folks. 888-291-8000. Because if you knew what we knew about what we have coming up for you, you'd be on the phone right now. 888-291-8000.
888-291-8000. James in Florida increased his pledge from $100 a month to $250 a month. All that increase, because it's a new pledge, is tripled. So,
Yes.
James, thank you very, very much for that.
Wow.
There's more folks I want to thank. I wish I could thank every single person, but I just thank the ones they put in front of me. But I got to get Tim back to the phones
Yes,
here.
let's do it.
Let's go to Elizabeth in Albany, New York, watching on YouTube. Elizabeth, we're glad you're here. Go ahead with your question for Tim Staples.
Hi, Si. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Hi. So at this point, I think I would classify myself as a mere Christian.
Okay.
'Cause I've been looking into Catholicism for the last several weeks, and I'm not sure if I would say I'm a Protestant anymore.
Okay.
But I was also baptized in the Catholic faith and was told that, unbeknownst to myself, I'm still considered Catholic. So
Yes.
go figures. So I'm a mere Christian, and so what I'm trying to figure out, I am trying to understand
Yes.
the biblical hermeneutic of the Roman Catholic Church,
Right.
in regards to the Marian doctrine,
Yes.
but really in regards to everything, but specifically to the Marian doctrine. So I'm sure you're familiar with systematic theology. When you read the Bible, the clearer text take precedent over the unclear text,
Yes.
descriptive versus prescriptive. So with the Marian doctrine,
Yes.
I know that like one of the verses that the Catholic Church turns to for as a proof text for Mary being our spiritual mother is John 19 verses 25 to 29.
Yes.
And which, like, when I read that, I'm thinking, well, God gave Mary to the disciple. I don't know the name of the disciple that he gave his mother to, but
Yes.
that doesn't necessarily mean that she's our mother. That's what I'm thinking. And then with
Gotcha.
the Immaculate Conception, because
Okay,
that
let
has
me
to do
jump
with
in right there.
Mary's-
Yeah, Elizabeth, let me jump in right there so we don't go into too many questions. First of all, that's a great question, but here's the bottom line. John gives us the answer at the back of the book. Now, what do I mean by that? First of all, Elizabeth, when we see this awesome moment here on the cross and at the foot of the cross, here we have Jesus and Mary. And this is John looking up at his dying Savior, right? And I was raised a Southern Baptist and later became a minister in an Assembly of God community. And I can tell you, we used to have a theology that was, just me and Jesus, and all I need is Jesus. Well, I want you to notice here, Elizabeth, John's looking to Jesus, but Jesus is the one who says to him, "Behold your mother." And son, behold your mother, and woman, behold your son. Now, John himself certainly would have known what was meant here when he was at the foot of the cross. And if you go to Revelation chapter 12, the same apostle John wrote the book of Revelation. And you'll see in the first 5 verses, of course, we have the woman clothed with the sun, who gives birth to the man-child who is to rule the nations with a rod of iron. That's quoting Psalm 2, Messianic Psalm. We know that's Jesus that she gives birth to there. You keep reading down to verse 17, and it says she's also the mother of all those who have the testimony of Jesus Christ and keep his commandments. Now, many of my Protestant friends will say, well, that's the Old Testament people of God. No, actually, this is first and foremost Mary, because Mary is the one. And you have to remember this, Elizabeth, on the literal sense of sacred scripture, which is where we always have to begin. Who was it who literally gave birth to Jesus? Yeah, there's a sense in which you could say the Old Covenant people of God give birth to even us as Christians and Jesus because he was Jewish and so forth. But That's on a spiritual sense. What is the literal interpretation here? Clearly, it is Mary who gave birth to Jesus. And if you look at the context, you have 4 literal characters here. You have the archangel Michael. You have, of course, Jesus. And you have the woman. And you have the dragon or the serpent. You have these 4 characters. Well, all of them are literal persons, except someone to say the woman is not. Well, it doesn't fit exegetically because all the other persons being referred to are real, literal persons. Now, again, on the spiritual level, yeah, we could talk about the woman being the church as well, being the people of God throughout the ages. But on the literal level, it is clearly Mary, and she's the mother not only of Jesus, but of all of us. And then if you think about Elizabeth as well, just reasonably, you and I are members of the body of Christ. If Mary is the mother of Jesus, how in the world could we not be? Also, how in the world could we not say that she's our mother as well? We're also referred to as brothers of the Lord. We are brothers and sisters of the Lord. So if we are, then of course, Mary is our mother as well. Those are just a couple of examples, Elizabeth. And as far as the Immaculate Conception goes, oh, Elizabeth, I'm going to send you out a copy of a book I wrote called Behold Your Mother. It's a biblical and historical exposition on the Marian doctrines, and I go through all of them. But I'll just give you one of my 8 biblical reasons why Mary is immaculately conceived, and that is she is clearly revealed to be the new Eve. Just as Jesus in 1 Corinthians 15:45 is referred to as the new Adam or the last Adam, Mary is referred to as the prophetic woman. And you'll notice in John 2:5, John 19 that you already mentioned, and 8 times in the book of Revelation chapter 12, Mary's referred to as Gune, the woman. She is the prophetic woman prophesied in Genesis 3:15, who along with her seed would crush the head of Lucifer and bring salvation to the world. This is fulfilled in Mary being revealed by her son as the woman. Again, John 2:5, John 19:26, Revelation 12, 8 times. And if you look at Revelation 12, there's a parallel between the woman of Revelation 12 and the woman of Genesis chapter 3. In fact, the same language is used, woman, gune, 8 times, and there's even a mention of the old serpent who is Lucifer, referring again back to the fall in Genesis 3, being recapitulated in the woman along with her son in the New Testament. In other words, undoing all the damage that was done through the fall in the Old Testament. I wish we had more time, Elizabeth, but please stay on the line. We will get your address and we will ship you out a free copy of my book. And folks, I have to say this, please. Our new friend here, Elizabeth, is probably the most important reason why you need to pick up the phone right now and give us a call. This is why we're here, Cy Kellett, to have Protestant friends like Elizabeth call in. And I wish, Elizabeth, you and I had about an hour. Please call back, though. We'll talk more. But folks, this is why we're here. We are here to give people Catholic answers. How many of you know there's not a lot of shows out there that are giving Catholic answers? What you find out there are caricatures of Catholicism, misrepresentations of Catholicism everywhere. Here at Catholic Answers Live, you are going to hear the one holy Catholic and apostolic faith defended like you will find nowhere else. Folks, do you want to get behind that? Well, please do. We need you right now. 888-291-8000 for Elizabeth and for the millions out there who need the fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Pick up the phone right now, 888-291-8000, or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Remember, you can text Catholic to 24365 as well. We need those $1,000 gifts. We need those $5,000. And guess what, folks? I think we just got blessed. We got a $10,000 gift from Christina in Orange County. Is that awesome, Cy Kellett?
That is beyond awesome. You asked for $10,000,
And
Christina came through. God bless you,
And
Christina.
we just got a gift from Bill and Denise, who pledged $5,000. Folks, can you get on board with this right now? There's got to be one more $5,000 gift out there and a $1,000 gift, I know. But folks, most importantly, we want you in the Catholic Answers family. If it's a one-time $10 gift, we love you. You are the reason why we are on the air. And they think I'm speaking hyperbole there, but Cy, you know this is true. Most of our givers are small givers.
Yeah, we can't do this without. I mean,
We can't.
It's easy. I mean, we're grateful to be able to thank Christina. But it's easy to say that one name, and we're very, very grateful for that. But we know we can't do this program without the $10 a month and the $20 a month pledger. We can't do it.
And can you explain that, how it's tripled now?
Yeah, okay. So the way it works is if you do a new monthly pledge, every new monthly pledge, in addition to being part of the $20,000 match for the hour, is also being matched again by a separate $65,000 match that we got.
That's incredible.
Which is just to go out there and get new monthly donors, because it became clear to us, and it has now become clear to people who give us those larger donations that that if we can get monthly donations, if we can make your friendship and have that $10 a month coming in, and there's enough people doing that,
Amen.
It provides a kind of ground floor where we could really plan for the future, which is why we have the School of Apologetics, for example.
Absolutely.
We know that the money is there to do that. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Open Forum with Tim Staples on Catholic Answers Live.
There's only one Catholic Answers Live.
Do you love praying for people? Have you ever wanted to use your gift of prayer to share Jesus with others and build up the body of Christ? Start a public prayer station with St. Paul Street Evangelization. Listen to people's needs, pray with them, or invite them to meet you at church. St. Paul Street Evangelization can help you get started. Find out how at streetevangelization.com. That's streetevangelization.com.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. Tim Staples, our guest, and we are just filled with gratitude to you and to everybody who's called, everybody who's said a prayer for us this hour. It means everything. We try not to ask for more than we need, but we do have to ask for what we need in order to be funded for the next 3 months. And you might say, people spend $225,000 in media on, that's about 1/5 of an episode of a normal half-hour show on the television, on that television thing. And we do 3 months of this where we're doing it because of you. We're doing it on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, and we're doing it on all the other places. I embarrass myself if I try to name them. And then we do it on the radio, and then we got the EWTN, satellite radio, and it's all over the world because we have partners in, like the wonderful people at Perusia down in Australia, or it's on in the Philippines, where we get so many calls, and we have such good relationships with so many people in the Philippines just because somebody's broadcasting us there. And it turns out that the Catholic faith, when it's presented with charity and clarity, as our boss likes to say, present it with charity and clarity,
Amen.
It's extremely compelling. You start to realize, this life is about something much more than I thought, and it can just transform life. It does transform life. I can tell you it transformed my life and does so every day. So if you're able and you can pick up that phone, give us a call. I'm going to let Tim go right back to the phones, but I want to give out the number again, 888-291-8000. 17 lines open right now. That means lots and lots of our colleagues are on the folks from the publishing department. Carlo's in there. Carlo from the apologetics department, I saw him down in his office. We got the folks from the fundraising department, the marketing department, the accounting department. You might get to talk with Imelda from accounting, which will be one of the most fun conversations in your life. 888-291-8000, 291-8000, or go safe and secure online to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can pledge, as Tim has said several times, just text the word Catholic to 24365, and you'll get where you need to go to make your pledge. 888-291-8000. I feel like sending you back to work.
Let's do it.
All right, back to the phones.
Amen.
Thanks again to everybody who has been supporting us. And we go now to Diana in Michigan, listening on the Catholic Answers app. Another thing where thousands and thousands of people listen on the app. All of that paid for by our donors, by you who are picking up the phone and calling right now. 888-291-8000. Diana, thanks for being with us. Go ahead with your question for Tim.
Hi.
Hi, Diana.
Thank you so much. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I appreciate all of your content. I'm a returning Catholic, so I've really been able to dive into a lot of it.
Well, praise God for that.
My question is about meditation.
Yes.
So prior to returning to Catholicism, I was doing a lot of meditation, clearing my mind, thinking of nothing. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it just kind of took all the pressure and stress off, and I really enjoyed it. But I heard that you're not supposed to clear your mind as a Catholic. That can be dangerous. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't aware. Is that true? And if so, how should I meditate?
Yes, Diana, great question. I would refer you to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, section 2726, where the Catechism talks about erroneous notions of prayer. That's the heading. And one of those erroneous notions is centered on, I used that word, centered on the idea, because we have a thing called centering prayer in the church that is contrary to the faith. That's why I mentioned that little pun. But the point is, and it's an erroneous notion of prayer to think that the goal or the end of prayer would be the emptying of the mind to make the mind a void. That's contrary to the faith. But Diana, even though that is obviously contrary to the faith, because we are a religion of the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. There is no other way to the Father except through the Son. That is, through the Word. We are rational creatures. As St. Teresa of Avila said, any prayer that does not involve the intellect is not Christian prayer. Because of the centrality of that fact, we are rational creatures. And so therefore, as St. Paul says in Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, whatsoever things are true, good, just, holy, pure, think on these things, he says. So we should meditate on the Word and in the Word and through the Word by the power of the Holy Spirit. But Diana, remember, having said that, that doesn't mean we have to be thinking all the time. There are times, Diana, where you just want to sit in the presence of God, and you don't have to meditate on a biblical passage or such. You just want to be in the presence of God, and that's fine. What's wrong is when there's an active attempt to empty the mind, so radically so that some in this movement that's very much contrary to the faith, the centering prayer movement, have said that 10,000 thoughts are 10,000 opportunities to return to God. That's just crazy. As if, thinking somehow will lead you away from God. Absolutely not. So, Diana, common sense. Sometimes I know when I'm with my wife, we have our wine nights. We sit out on the back porch. I don't have to talk all the time. I just love being in the presence of my wife. We do talk, and we have a lot of wonderful times talking together, but we also have great times just being in each other's presence. And that's what it can be with God as well, just being in the presence of Jesus. I hope that helps, Diana.
Very much. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
You should see the pile of wine bottles in their backyard, too. It's ridiculous.
But folks, you know what? I have to say this again. Not only is that true, but you know what? I just have to say again, this is why we're here. Folks who need Catholic answers. They want to know, what's the truth about meditation? What's the truth about Jesus? What's the truth about the Eucharist, the sacraments, you name it? What's the truth about Jesus? That's what we're here for. And folks, thank you again, all of you that have called, but we have 14 open lines right now. And I know we're about to end this first hour. Please do not stop calling. We need you to call now. We need these last few minutes for that phone line to light up at 888-291-8000. That's 888-291-8000. I know there's a few more $1,000 gifts out there, folks. Can you pick up that phone at 888-291-8000? And I know there's a couple more $10 a month donors. There's a couple more $25 a month donors. You're out there. And that's going to be tripled if you call right now, 888-291-8000, or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or text Catholic to 24365.
The number 888-291-8000 is where you can call safe and secure. And I know we Americans were very competitive, so I'll tell you this. Already, donation from New South Wales, Sydney, Australia, Charles down there, Victoria in Ontario, Canada.
Fantastic.
So, I mean, if you're American, you can't let those people give, and you're not giving. I mean, come on.
I was just in New Zealand.
You were just in everywhere.
Those people are awesome, man.
Well, 888-291-8000. We're going to take a very quick break. Perfect time to call because you can get this done by the time we're back. We're going to be gone for about 3 minutes, about 90 seconds if you want. You can get it done, or you can visit with the folks here at Catholic Answers. 18 of them are on the lines ready to take your calls right now. 888-291-8000, 888-291-8000. You can also go safe and secure online wherever you are in the world. They've already done it in Ontario and Sydney, so we know it's working. CatholicAnswersRadio.com, or text the word Catholic to 24365. Tim Staples, I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for doing this with us today.
God bless you, brother.
It's nice
Bye.
to see you so hale and healthy.
Amen.
All right, right back. We'll give you the report on this hour when we come back, and we'll talk with Jimmy Akin and have another hour of open forum right after this on Catholic Answers Live. Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. As promised, Jimmy Akin with us this hour, and your calls are welcome. If you have a question about the Catholic faith or anything else on earth, whether you're Catholic or not, you're very welcome here. 888-318-7884. Very happy to take your call if you have a question. 888-318-7884. The other business we will be doing this hour is we got to do a bit of fundraising because we need to pay for the program to keep it on the air for the next 3 months. That's how we do this. It's how we've always done it. And you've always been generous in making it possible for us to stay on the air. If we can raise $225,000 in the next, over the course of these 3 days, today, tomorrow, and the next day, then we will be fully funded. And with God's help and with yours, we'll do it. Jimmy Akin, thank you very much for being here with us for this hour.
My pleasure to be here, Cy. And why don't we start out by telling people about some of the aspects of the current fundraising campaign. Now, last hour we had a $20,000 matching challenge, which we made, and this hour again we have a $20,000 matching challenge. So we really do need to hear from people. A lot of people called in at the last minute during the break, and of course the break is a good time to call. We currently have 12 of our fellow Catholic Answers employees standing by, not on calls. We only have 3 people on calls right now. So we've got lots of people waiting at their desks to take your call. Give us a call. The number is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000. We've got $20,000 to go this hour for the matching challenge. We also have some special thank you gifts that we would like to send you as an expression of our gratitude for your generosity. Cy Kellett, what can you tell us about those gifts?
If you call and meet the matches, all those matches will accrue to us, and we will be able to send you, if you're able to come in at the $10 a month pledge level, you become a member of our Society 315, which has ongoing benefits. We try to continue to communicate with Society 315 members with new content and new availabilities all throughout the course of the year, and we try to have a lot of fun doing that, and we have so far. It's been very successful. In addition to all that, you'll get a Society 315 t-shirt, you'll get a Catholic Answers car magnet, a coupon code for money off over at shop.catholic.com. Then if you can come in at the $20 a month level, all of that is all true. If it's a new pledge, tripled this hour. And we'll be able to add to that the new book from Don Johnson called Twisted Unto Destruction, a study, really, of the consequences of the Sola Scriptura doctrine on society. If you're able to come in at the $45 a month, maybe you can make a one-time gift of $500 either. $45 a month or a one-time gift of $500. All of that will be yours, but we'll also send you a Daily Defense, Jimmy Akin's book, A Daily Defense, 365 days plus one to becoming a better apologist.
A whole year's worth of apologetics in one book.
There you go, right there. And then if you're able to come in at the $84 a month level or a one-time pledge, all of that will be yours, and you'll be a member of the President's Club, which means if you ask for it, you can ask for anything we publish over the course of the year that you're a member of President's Club, and you can have it for free. Also, you get the magazine delivered to your house for free, and quite a few other benefits. And then at the $417 a month level or $5,000 one-time gift, you're a member of Founders Circle. And that has lots of benefits that you can find out about online. I don't want to do them all here, but among them is you will get a complimentary invitation to our Founders Circle weekend, a weekend that we spend doing some training, doing some education, doing some praying together, but also hearing from donors who make often brilliant suggestions of things that we can do better. So all of those are levels you can give at. Right now we have a $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match and an additional match if you are starting a new monthly pledge. You'll be matched twice. That is, your money will be tripled. A new $10 pledge is $30 a month to us. A new $100 a month pledge is $300 a month to us right now. 888-291-8000.
And one of the things that we often talk about here during fundraising drives is we have an overall drive goal in addition to the, hourly matching challenges that we have. We have an overall drive goal that we also need to meet. And sometimes it can be challenging for us to get to that level. So by the end of the drive, we usually have to depend on people making some larger donations, whether it's $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, even more than that, $20,000 or $30,000 or even $50,000. We need those larger donations in order to make the overall drive goal. We've had some people be very generous towards us in the first hour, but we will need more people who are able to donate at that level, in addition to people donating at every level. But I understand that, if it is a larger donation, you may need to do some checking. You need to check with your spouse perhaps, or, check with your stockbroker, or check with somebody before committing to a larger donation like that. And so I want to plant a seed now. Please, if you do have the means to think about giving a larger donation, please be thinking about it. If you know that you can go ahead and commit to a larger donation, by all means, call in at any time. The number is 888-291-8000, or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com any time of the day, 24 hours a day, no matter where you are in the world. But before the end of the drive, so that's to say before Thursday, we will need to hear from you if you're able to make one of those larger donations. So I want to plant the seed now, let you be thinking about it, and then please do contact us before the end of the drive on Thursday. So thank you very much for contemplating that. And Cy, what is that number again, really slowly?
8. Well, I won't do it that slowly. 888-291-8000. Right now, 15 of our colleagues on the phones. 5 are busy with calls. That means we've got 10 of them. We're just waiting to take your call right now. 888-291-8000. As I go to the phones now to find a caller to ask a question of Jimmy, I'll just remind you there's a $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match this hour. We use it up. We get it all. And then there's an additional match for anyone who can make a new monthly pledge. So that means a new monthly pledge tripled right now at 888-291-8000. Let's go to Brian in Birmingham, Alabama, watching on YouTube. Brian, we're glad you're here. Go ahead with your question for Jimmy.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Jimmy. Got a question for you. A little confused. I've been reading the Gospels a lot lately. But, in the Gospels, it seems like, if I remember correctly, Jesus says that you'll see the Son of Man return or come into his kingdom or whatever, before before all of you die or whatever. So I was wondering, how does that work, regarding the 2,000 years that have passed, and are we misunderstanding the second coming when we think he's talking about that, or is he talking about something else entirely?
Well, so when Jesus never predicts the timing of the second coming, Jesus does say some things that people have thought were talking about the second coming and that we're linking it to his own generation. But when you read those passages carefully, it turns out that's not actually what he's talking about. Now, there are several different places in the Gospels where things like this happen, and I won't be able to go through all of them individually, but I will give you a little bit of a background on it, and then Cy, let's send Brian a copy of A Daily Defense, which is one of our premiums, one of our thank you gifts for this drive. But in A Daily Defense, I go into these in detail. So we'll send Brian that so he can get some more information beyond what I can go into on the air. One of the passages that has been appealed to in this regard is a passage that occurs in all 3 of the synoptic gospels. So it's in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And Jesus says there are some standing here who will not die before they see the kingdom coming in power. And so people have looked at that and said, oh, okay, so the second coming must occur during the lifetime of some of the people who are standing there. But that's not what he says. He says they're going to see a manifestation of the kingdom with power. There's going to be something where the kingdom comes with power during the lifetime of some of those standing there. And then in each of the synoptic gospels, in Matthew and in Mark and in Luke, the author then says, and a week later, the transfiguration happened. And of course, Psychelet, when in reading about the transfiguration, they're up on the mountaintop. Peter, John, and James are there with him. They were some of the ones who were just standing there, and they see Jesus transfigured. So he's glowing. He's brilliant white. Mark says his clothes are whiter than any fuller could dye them. And there's Elijah and Moses there talking with them. There's a cloud that overshadows everything in brilliance. Psychelet, would you say that was a powerful demonstration of the kingdom?
It sure sounds like it to me.
Yeah, and so that's what that passage is talking about. That's why when he says there are some standing here now who will see the kingdom of God come with power, and then it immediately says, and basically a week later, this is what happened. So the authors are telling us that's what Jesus was talking about. The other main passage, and again, this is in all three of the synoptics, it's in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, is in what's sometimes called the Olivet Discourse, because it was a discourse that Jesus gave on the Mount of Olives. And if you read Mark's account of the Mount of Olives discourse, and if you read Luke's account, and if you read Matthew's account, in each case, it begins when they've just come out of the temple, and then they cross the Kidron Valley to get to the Mount of Olives, which is across from the temple. And Jesus says that that all of the stones of the temple are going to be thrown down. There won't be one left standing on another. And the disciples ask, when is this going to happen, and what will be the sign that it's about to happen? So that's what they're asking about. They're not asking about the second coming. Now, there's an additional question in Matthew, which does deal with the second coming. But in Mark and in Luke, and even in Matthew, the initial question is, when is the temple going to be destroyed? What's the sign the temple is going to be destroyed? And that's the only question in Mark and in Luke. And so what we then find is in the discourse that follows, Jesus gives a number of signs. Like in Luke, for example, he mentions Jerusalem being surrounded by armies. That's going to be one of the signs the temple is going to be destroyed. He gives some other signs too. He says some of these do not mean the temple's about to be destroyed, but he says that all of this is going to be fulfilled within one generation, within the generation then alive. And indeed, the temple was destroyed within that generation. Jesus gave this discourse in AD 33. The temple was destroyed in AD 70, just 37 years later. And so that's what he's talking about. He's not talking about the second coming and when that's going to happen. He's talking about the destruction of the temple. So hope that helps you out. There's some more information in A Daily Defense, which we'll be sending to you, Brian. But that's an illustration of a kind of question that a lot of people have. It can be very confusing for people when they read the Gospels and they try to match it up to their own understanding of how things happen. We're living now, more than 1900 years after the destruction of the temple. So what's on our mind is the second coming. That's the next big thing for us, not the destruction of the temple. And so it's very easy for people to get confused and think, oh, did Jesus get it wrong here? Was he saying he was going to come back within a generation and then he didn't? What does that mean for our faith? What does that mean about the second coming? And that's why we're here on Catholic Answers Live, to clarify those questions and to help people out and to carefully show right here in the text, is what gives us the answer. So this doesn't challenge our faith. Jesus was not wrong, and we're all about building people's faith here on Catholic Answers Live. So we do need to hear from you so that we can keep answering important questions like that and helping build people's faith. The number to call is 888-291-8000. Once again, the number is 888-291-8000. I can see that we have 14 of our Catholic Answers employees who are just waiting at their desks to take your call. We've made a little bit of progress towards our goal this hour, but we still have $17,000 of more progress that we need to make. So please do give us a call. We're only 15% of the way there, and we're 25% of the way through the hour. So we're a little bit behind percentage-wise. The number to call again, 888 888-291-8000. Once again, 888-291-8000, or you can donate safely and securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
Lots of folks waiting to take your calls right here at the Catholic Answers offices. 16 of them on the line, 13 of them available at the moment. Just 3 calls on the line right now. Perfect time to call. You can ask them to get you out of there in 90 seconds. They can do it about that fast. Or if you want to chat with them about Catholic Answers, you want to tell them your story, you want to ask our story, you can do that as well. 888-291-8000, 888-291-8000. As Jimmy said, a long way to go to make this hour's match. I mean, we are more than 1/4 of the way through the hour, and we still have $17,000 that we need to bring in order to meet that $20,000 match. Let me give you the number, 888-291-8000. You can go safe and secure online to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, or if you got your phone with you, just text the word Catholic to 24365, and you can take care of it that way. I want to read you one. Jason from Napa just called and donated and said he's praying for the next searching soul looking for answers, because that was him 14 years ago when he discovered Catholic Answers Live, which led him home. Jason, thank you so much. Thank you for the donation, and thank you for the kind words as we ask folks to keep us fully funded for the next 3 months.
And something else I want to mention, you may already be a donor to Catholic Answers. You may already be a monthly donor. You may have donated during a previous radio drive. You may become one of our monthly friends who donates every month, and that's great. But you can also still help out more. You could increase your donation. And so the people that work here at Catholic Answers, our fellow employees, they've been trained in how to help you increase your donation. And by doing that, you can also get in on the thank yous that we have for this drive. So if you'd like to, for example, even if you've donated to previous drives, even if you're already a monthly supporter, you could still get, for example, Don Johnson's book, Twisted Unto Destruction, about Sola Scriptura and the effects that it's had on society. You also, some people may be giving at higher levels monthly, maybe $50 or $60 a month, but if you can get up to just $84 a month, it's not even $100 a month. If you can get up to $84 a month, you can join our President's Club, and that gets you VIP access to receptions at Catholic Answers conferences and cruises and other events. As Cy mentioned, you're also entitled to receive everything we publish during the year. So that's all the books, all the booklets, all the DVDs, all the audio sets. All of that is yours, as well as all of the magazines. And also you get an invitation to our annual Founders Circle weekend, as well as access to Tom Nash, who is an apologist that we work with to specifically help answer your questions as a member of the President's Club. And that's only $84 a month. Lots of people can afford $84 a month. So please do give us a call, 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000, and that works even if you're already giving. If you can just increase to $84 a month, that'll get you over the $1,000 a year line, and that entitles you to become a member of the President's Club.
888-291-8000. Lots of our colleagues ready to take your calls, which one thing that might encourage you as well, if you are someone who thinks, I don't know if I want to tie up their line. You don't think it's worth the time. They're waiting.
Tie up our line, please.
Yeah, but they're waiting. So if you want to make that a $5 one-time gift, maybe you could do a $5 a month gift. Maybe you could do more than that. Whatever it is, they're happy to take that call. They'd be happy to talk with you. And we got plenty of people on the phones right now ready to take your calls. 888-291-8000. I mean, it is a shocking number when you think about it, but per tower, we're on all these radio towers all around the country, some around the world, and if you average it out, it's 13 people per each radio tower that we're on. Say in Cleveland, or say in Orlando, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, out here in San Diego. 13 people per tower make this show possible. And if we could get that up to 14, 15, 16, we can do more and more of the things that we've been able to do, like provide the show on all the social media outlets, or do social media campaigns, or provide the School of Apologetics. You can make your pledge right now, 888-291-8000.
And I know we're going to take another phone call here in just a moment, Cy, but wanted to let people know a little bit of an update. We have now made up 18% of our hourly challenge, but we are now 33% of the way through the hour. So we're about a fifth of the way to the challenge, but we're a third of the way through the program. And so we really do need to hear from people. We are going to be taking a break in a few minutes, and that's a great time to call because you won't miss anything. The number to call is 888-291-8000.
888-291-8000. Back to the other phone lines we go, the phones where folks have questions for Jimmy. It's open forum. Jimmy Akin is our guest, and up next is Matt in Coppell, Texas, listening on the Guadalupe Radio Network. Matt, go ahead with your question for Jimmy.
Hi, Cy and Jimmy. How you guys doing tonight?
Very well, thank you.
Great. Yeah, I called in last night, and I'm glad to be back on again tonight. My question for you, Jimmy, tonight is on evangelization. And so I'm a devout Catholic. I've been heavily involved in the Catholic Church, lecturing, street ministry for quite a few years. And since I moved here to Texas the last 3 years, really haven't found much in the way of any of those kind of ministries. And I have a few friends who are Protestant, and they obviously don't have the fullness of the truth that we do as Catholics with the Eucharist and the sacraments and whatnot. But one thing I do see with them is they have a great zeal to go out and witness to people, to spread the gospel as commanded by our Lord, to go out and spread the gospel to every creature. And so my question to you is, what can we do as Catholics, starting with at the local level, going all the way up to the top, to get people to not be afraid and get out there and speak to people? Thank you.
Well, I think that one of the things that we need to hear more about from the pulpit, frankly, is the need to evangelize. One of the reasons that you see a lot of Protestants doing evangelization is because they hear it from the pulpit. Protestant pastors will tell people, you need to go evangelize. You need to get off your butt. You need to not be intimidated by your fears, and you need to go tell people about Jesus. And frankly, we need some of our priests, in fact, a lot of our priests, to get off their butts and tell the faithful to get off their butts and go tell people about Jesus. So that motivation, a greater awareness of the need to evangelize, is one of the key things that will promote evangelization. If you want someone to do something, you need to tell them to do it. So I think that's a key ingredient. Also, they need to give training in parishes to help people realize the different ways that this can happen. This doesn't have to be formal training. A priest in a homily can walk people through this. A lot of people have contact these days online, and so online evangelization is a key place. Back in the day, St. Paul would go to the public square in a town because that's where the people would hang out. That's where people were available to be evangelized. He'd also go to synagogues and evangelize in synagogues because that's where people were. Well, today a lot of people are online, and so a lot of people can evangelize from the comfort of their own homes. Now, you, Matt, you said you've done street ministry, and that's great. You say you haven't found a lot of that going on in your current area. So I would encourage you to if there's not a street evangelization group in your area, set one up. St. Paul Street Evangelization helps people set up groups in their own local areas. You could contact them. They could help you set up such a group. You could talk to your friends. You mentioned you have Protestant friends. You see them evangelizing. Tell them, hey, listen, I think what you're doing is great, bringing people to Jesus. I think there's a little bit more to the story, though, and so I'd like to talk with you about that, and you can evangelize your Protestant friends. So there's lots of different ways to get involved, but it's important that you do that.
And I'm going to say thanks for that because we're about to go to a very quick break, a perfect time to pick up the phone and call. If you are ready, now is the time to go and make your support known for Catholic Answers, for this radio program, Catholic Answers Live. Help us keep it on the air for the next 3 months. $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match and $16,000 of it still to use up this hour. 888-291-8000. And in addition, if you start a new monthly pledge, your pledge will be matched again. So it's double matched for the rest of this hour. 888-291-8000.
So here we go with the break. We currently have 12 of our fellow Catholic Answers employees waiting to take your call. Only 3 employees are on the phone right now. Let's fill up all 12 of those lines, however much you can give, whether it's a large amount or a small amount. We need to hear from you right now during the break. The number is 888-291-8000. Once again, 888-291-8000. Please come through for us now.
Catholic Answers Live would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners in airing our daily program. Please support the stations and networks that carry us each day, ensuring that we have a platform for broadcasting the show. And please bear in mind that while we do not have to pay for airtime on our affiliate stations, neither do they contribute to the operating costs we incur. It's a great relationship, but it requires that we turn to you, our devoted listeners, for your prayers and financial support to cover our ever-growing expenses. Please call 888-291-8000 right now and help to keep Catholic Answers Live strong. That's 888-291-8000. Or you can donate securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. What began as a humble 1-hour daily show that was carried by 4 radio stations has, with the generosity of many fantastic people like you, blossomed into a 2-hour broadcast heard on hundreds of AM and FM stations, the internet, Sirius XM Radio, Facebook, YouTube, and via podcast. We don't make that possible, you do. We simply cannot continue this media mission without your most generous gift today. Call 888-291-8000 or log on to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and donate now. People tell us all the time how much they depend on Catholic Answers Live to help them better learn, live, and share their faith. What they're really saying is they depend on you for that. Will you come through for them right now? It only takes a couple of minutes to make a huge difference at 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Again, 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. No matter how much you give, be assured of our gratitude and know that God will richly bless you. Phone 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's important that you take this important step right now, today, to make sure that Catholic Answers Live is here tomorrow and for years to come. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. I'm Cy Kellett, your host. Jimmy Akin is our guest. It's open forum where you can call and ask whatever you like of Jimmy Akin. But right now we're also doing a little bit of fundraising. We only come to you 6 hours every 3 months, and we ask you to fund us during those 6 hours for the next 3 months. We can do that because it doesn't cost a lot. It only costs $225,000 to fully fund this program and quite a few other things that we do here at Catholic Answers. And so with that number in mind, we come to you, and you've always come through for us. Right now, we have 2 matches, so a perfect time to give. We have a $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match for anybody who gives in any amount. But we have a second match, $65,000 available to us for that match, and that is for anybody who starts a new new monthly pledge. Any new monthly pledge is going to get matched twice. So that if it's $10, it becomes $30 to us. If it's $100, it becomes $300 to us. If you want to do $1,000 a month, it becomes $3,000 a month to us. 888-291-8000. Before we go back to the phones, our president's here. Chris Check, president of Catholic Answers.
Cy, I want to say thank you to everyone who's donated so far, and I want to clarify something that I get calls about from time to time, because we say that we have these matches on the show. My friends, these are true matches. What do I mean by that? It's not a challenge. It's not like somebody gave us a check for $50,000 and he's encouraging other people to pitch in.
Right.
These are true matches, so we don't get them until we meet them. That's what they are. They're actual true matches. The donor doesn't write the check to us until all of you out there who are listening donate what you can donate. So I want to make that very clear. These are true matches. It's not just a challenge. Challenges are great, but these are true matches. So we really, truly need your help. We got about 15,000 to go in about 30 minutes here, or less than 30 minutes.
15,000 in 30 minutes. It's a long way to go.
Second thing I want to say, Cy, is I say this every time. There are a lot of folks who listen to the show who've never supported us, and that's okay. Except the show is meant to be given away. But I just want to appeal to your conscience a little bit, my friends. Those of you who've never supported us before. It means somebody else is making the show possible for you. So what I would invite you to do, if you've never supported Catholic Answers, is make the show possible for someone else, right? Make it possible for someone else who can't support the show to hear every day of the 10 best apologists in the United States, 5 who are on the full-time staff here at Catholic Answers. You say, Cy, this show costs $225,000 a quarter to produce. I find that extraordinary that it's that little amount of money to produce a show of this high quality.
And it gets to so many people. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people.
It is extraordinary. When I think about the talent on the other side of this glass, with Jack on cameras and Zach on the board and Thomas doing the call screening and also managing the social media. And then the fullness of the staff here at Catholic Answers. And by the way, my friends, if you call in, 888, look at I was breaking the rules. Sorry. 888-291-8000, 888-291-8000. Please call in. You're going to get to talk to some of the behind-the-scenes people here at Catholic Answers who make this ship run.
Yeah, and some of the in front of the scenes people too.
That's true.
Like Carlo was taking calls just a few minutes ago. I don't know what he's doing now, but
I don't know if this is a blessing or curse. There's a chance you might actually get the president because I'm taking calls right now.
That's a blessing, Chris. To get to talk to you is a blessing.
888-291-8000, 888-291-8000. I want to stress, Cy, also the opportunity to be a monthly giver because those gifts are tripled. Right. So $10 a month is $30 a month. And you also join our 315 Society. And we'll send you a link describing all the benefits. You get a cool T-shirt, access to content that no one else has access to unless you're a monthly giver.
And you'll make us feel better because there's virtually nobody on the phone right now. I mean, one call on right now.
So. All right. So I know there are a lot of people listening who have never given before. I'm asking you now, please call 888-291-8000, 888-291-8000. Do not make it so that Catholic Answers leaves $15,000 on the table here.
888-291-8000. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for coming in.
I'll be back, Cy.
Be back with good news, will you? Come back with good news.
888-291-8000.
Jimmy?
So I want to give people an update. Now, we are basically a quarter of the way to our challenge for this hour. We have basically $5,000 of the challenge met, but that's only a quarter of it, and we are now halfway through the program. So we're now in a situation where we are behind the 8 ball. We are significantly behind. We may not make the match this hour without your assistance. Last hour, we were able to make the challenge because we had some people come through with some very generous gifts. We haven't had as much of that this hour. So we also have an additional problem this hour, which is a lot of our stations, because of the time change, a lot of our stations, particularly AM stations, are sundowners. And with the shift off of daylight savings time, that means it has gotten dark where those stations are, and as a result, they are off the air because, as you know, working as a radio professional, a sundowner station is a station that goes off the air when the sun goes down, and lots of our stations are sundowners, and so not as many people are hearing us this hour. We're having to draw on a smaller pool of supporters, and that means that we really need to hear from the supporters that are able to listen to us, whether they're listening online or via terrestrial radio or however you're listening to us. We do need to hear from you. We basically need to be able to make $500 a minute for the next 30 minutes in order to be able to make the additional $15,000 that we need to make in order to meet the match. So please do give us a call. We are behind. We are behind the 8 ball. Don't want to leave it to the last minute and have it be a last-minute squeaker. If you are able to make a larger donation, like last hour we had a couple of $5,000 donations and a $10,000 donation. We haven't had anything like that this hour. Please do give us a call, 888-291-8000. Once again, 888-291-8000, or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
888-291-8000. I'm very grateful. We have 10 callers on now. That means just 6 lines open. So bit by bit, little by little, they are filling up. 888-291-8000. 888-291-8000. Or I'll tell you what, right now, Jimmy, I've noticed that several folks from Australia and Canada have made pledges just in the last half hour. So I don't know what's happening in Australia and Canada, but we're grateful for
and
that support.
Singapore.
Oh, yeah, a gentleman from Singapore. Maybe
Awesome.
not a gentleman from Singapore. Rufina.
Lady.
From Singapore. We're so grateful for that. And that's, first of all, it's very exciting to us to know that you're listening around the world and that you're willing to support us. And also, if it inspires your Catholic brothers and sisters here in the United States to give, that'd be extra good for us. I'm going to go back to the phones. We don't go into panic mode around here. We continue to do our regular day job, but we do need your help. 888-291-8000. But I want to give the text out again just one more time before I go to the phones. You can just text the word Catholic to 24365. The word Catholic to 24365, and that'll take you right where you need to go to make your pledge. We're going now to I'm not sure.
Switzerland.
Is he
line
on?
5.
Oh yeah, line 5. Okay, we'll go to John in Switzerland watching on YouTube. John, nice to hear from you again. Go ahead with your question for Jimmy.
Yes. Hello. I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to say quickly thank you again for everything you're doing for us, and I can assure you that you probably saved so many souls you cannot count anymore, and for every dollar people could donate, that's souls getting saved, and I think you cannot put a price on that. So if I can just give some encouragement for that.
Thank you, John.
That would be my what I have to say. My question is about miracles like Fatima and others. I really have no doubt about Fatima, and I love the story and always use that in some conversations. But sometimes there are other ones that I feel less comfortable with because I have to wrestle with the ideas, and the fact that the church doesn't require me to believe in them somehow makes it harder for me, because it would be way easier for me if the church would just say, yeah, it happened, we are very confident on that, and you have to believe in it, and I would just believe in it, right? But the fact that I'm not required to makes it harder for me, and I wanted to know if there is some reason for that. Is it like because the church is not 100% sure that they happened, or why is that not required from us to believe in them?
Yeah. So the reason that the church doesn't require belief in private revelations is because they're private. Or sometimes a different term will be used because private can be kind of misleading, since things like Fatima, even though it's classified as a private revelation, everybody knows about it, so it's not private in that sense. So sometimes they're also called special revelations. What they are not, though, is what's known as public revelation or general revelation, which is revelation that is binding on everyone. And the church understands that the revelation we have in the Bible and the revelation that we have in sacred tradition, that is public revelation. It is binding on everybody. Everybody in Christendom, and every human being, frankly, needs to believe that. But all of that revelation, all the so-called public revelation that is binding on the entire public, was given no later than the death of the last apostle. There was a shift. During the Old Testament period, God was giving public revelation. During the New Testament period, God was also giving public revelation. But when the when the last apostle died, the deposit of faith, that is, the substance of the faith, which is binding on everyone, that deposit was closed. And so even though God has continued to give revelation since that time, it is not binding on everyone. It may be binding on the people who receive it. So, for example, the 3 shepherd children from Fatima, what they experienced, that could be binding on them because it was given to them. But revelation in our age is not being given to everyone in the world. It's not binding on the entire public. And so that's why the church does not require belief in private revelations. What it does do is check them out. It does an investigation, and if the situation warrants it, it does an investigation. It, looks at the content of the revelation. It sees, does it contradict anything in the faith? It looks at the evidence connected with the revelation. Is there evidence that would suggest this is genuinely from God? And if it turns out to be the case that there's good evidence supporting it and it doesn't contradict anything in the faith, then the church will approve the private revelation. But all that approval means is we checked it out, it doesn't contradict the faith, and there is good evidence that it's from God. But because it's of when it's given, because it's given in the present age and not back during the time of the prophets or the apostles, it's not going to be binding on everybody, and so the church doesn't go beyond that. So I hope that helps you out, John.
John, thank you. We just love hearing from you from Switzerland. I hope we'll get to continue that. I have to say, one of the nice things about my job is I get to talk regularly with people from Africa and Asia and Europe and North and South America and Australia.
It's a demonstration of how Catholic Answers Live is helping people all over the world. This is a global enterprise.
And it's not thousands and thousands and thousands of people making it possible. We have a limited number of donors, and so everybody who gives makes a big difference in what we do. We don't, as Chris was saying, it doesn't cost a great deal, in part because we have wonderfully dedicated people who are willing to work for the nonprofit rate. But it doesn't cost a great deal to produce this, given the impact that it has. I guess the return on investment is really, really high. I want to just mention a gentleman just called to make a pledge. Bill, he just discovered Catholic Radio. He thinks a lot of evangelization needs to go to fellow Catholics who don't know their faith, and he's really excited about what we have to offer. Bill, we're pretty excited about it too, and thank you very, very much for that. Kathleen from Roanoke just got a triple match. First-time donor, $100 a month, all of that triple matched right now. What you can, if you want to pledge $5 a month, $10 a month, maybe you could do that $100 a month. It's all tripled right now because we have not gone very far into the match this hour. We still have $15,000 to use up, so 888-291-8000 is the number to call.
And we've got 15 minutes to make up that amount. So we need to be hearing from people who can help us achieve a rate of $1,000 a minute if we're going to make the match this hour. So please do give us a call. The number to call, 888-291-8000. We have 11 of our Catholic Answers staffers who are waiting to take your call. Only 6 of them are on lines right now, so there are 11 who are free. By the way, we just took a call from Switzerland, and we mentioned that earlier that we had gifts coming in from Singapore and Australia and so forth. No matter where you are in the world, whether you're in Africa or Asia or Europe or South America or Mexico or Antarctica, or on the International Space Station, wherever you are, even if you're not on Earth, as long as you have internet access, you can support Catholic Answers Live. So if you're receiving benefit from Catholic Answers Live, if you listen to it, if you get educated about your faith, if you get questions answered, you have interesting things to think about, if you're benefiting from the program, you can support it. Please do support it. You can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com from anywhere in the world, anywhere you have an internet connection, and that works 24 hours a day. You don't have to call in live. But if you're here in North America, we do need to hear from you right now. The number is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888 888-291-8000.
888-291-8000, or go safe and secure online to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, or just text the word Catholic to 24365. A $20,000 dollar-for-dollar match this hour with $15,000 of it left to use up. Also, a second match for anyone who makes a new monthly pledge in any amount. It will be double matched, and then that means your money gets tripled. 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. I'm going to tell you what, lines have opened up, and I'm sorry we dropped Adonai from North Carolina. He couldn't stay on the line with a 10-year-old that we were about to talk to. But if you want to call back, Adonai, all the lines are open right now. Anybody else has a question for Jimmy? Let me give out that number real quick. This is not the pledge line. This is the line to call if you want to go on the air to ask Jimmy a question. 888-318-7884, 888-318-7884. Long way to go. Go ahead.
And since Adonai was kind enough to call in, and I can see his question, I'll go ahead and answer it anyway. Adonai asked, how was the Apostles' Creed actually introduced? And the answer is that the Apostles' Creed developed in the city of Rome, and it was used as a creed that they would have someone say when they were getting baptized. And so it was a baptismal creed that was developed in the one city in Rome, and then it spread from there to be used all over the church. It was developed beginning in the 3rd century, so in the AD 200s, and it's changed a little bit over the centuries, but it's still basically the same creed, and it's influenced other creeds. But the fact that it is was specifically developed for baptism is why it gets used at baptisms. If you ever watch a baptism in a Catholic church or a renewal of baptismal vows, that's why they're using the Apostles' Creed, because it was specifically developed for baptism.
Again, Adonai, thank you very much for the question. I hope you found the answer helpful. Right now, we've got 10 lines open, 14 of our colleagues ready to take calls, so you do the math. But we'd love to take your call now, because we have all this match money to use up this hour. And if you're ready to take advantage of it, please do take advantage of it, because we only have 3 days to do this. And most people are kind of like me. They'll put it off until about the last half hour that it can be done, and that can jam up the phones. So the more that we can take care of now, the better that is later. And we've got all the match money, so might as well call and use it up. Any match, any pledge is matched 100%. Up to $15,000 right now, because that's what we've got left. Any pledge is matched up to $15,000. If you can make a new one-time, excuse me, I don't know why I keep saying that, a new monthly pledge, any new monthly pledge is matched again. So that's essentially, you get your money is tripled. It's doing a lot of work, and we put it to work. We're producing this radio program 2 hours a day. It's being broadcast all around the world. We're producing our Catholic Answers Focus podcast. We have several new podcasts coming out with Joe Heschmeyer and Carla Broussard. We've got the wonderful podcast from Trent Horn. Jimmy has recently been the founding dean and continues as the dean for the Catholic Answers, or that's not the right word, is it? Chancellor, dean? What do we call you for the School of Apologetics? The dean for the School of Apologetics. And just one thing after another we've been able to do, because you have always supported us in doing it. The social media outreach is huge now, all because of your support. 888-291-8000.
So one of the things that we also talk about during these radio drives is the biblical theology of giving, because the Bible does talk about giving and the theological principles behind it. And one of the principles, and I know we'll talk about this more in coming days, but one of the principles that St. Paul establishes is that whoever is taught God's word needs to support the preaching of God's word materially. He says, let he who is taught share all good things with him who teaches. And what that does is it enables the teacher to be able to go forward and teach other people. So it helps fund the spread of the gospel. Well, if you're listening to Catholic Answers Live, guess what we're doing here? We're teaching God's word. That's what the show is all about. So if you're learning God's word, and some people have frankly said that we teach it particularly well here on Catholic Answers Live. I know I sometimes hear And obviously, you need to support your parish too. But I know sometimes at parishes, I hear sermons, and I don't think there's a lot of real teaching going on in the sermons. But we do teach God's word here. We're very serious about it. We're good at it, frankly. And so if you're receiving benefit, if you are learning about God and his word from this program, follow St. Paul's advice and share with the teacher in order to be able to allow the teacher to keep going and help us keep going is the bottom line. And St. Paul also promises rewards for people who do that. And he's not talking simply about rewards in this life. You'll get rewards in this life, like the thank yous that we'll send you. But in particular, St. Paul points to rewards in the next life, to eternal rewards. So if you're able to support us here in this life, help us keep going in this life, you will actually reap eternal rewards. And we'll be talking more about that in coming days. But right now, we do need to hear from you. The number is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000. We're going to be coming up on another break in a few moments, and so that's going to be another great time to call. We will have our fellow employees standing by to answer the phones for as long as they keep ringing. So you'll be able to call without missing anything. And if you're listening delayed via podcast or YouTube or something, or if you're not in North America, you can always, any time of day, go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and donate safely and securely from anywhere in the world, any time of day.
It seems now that in order to make the match, either we're just going to have to fill up the lines, or a few folks who can make those larger donations, maybe $1,000, maybe $2,500. Maybe you could do a $5,000 or $10,000 gift. We've still got, looks to me, almost $12,000 to use up this hour. 888-291. There's a triple match on it. Quite a few folks have been taking advantage of it. I see recurring donations of $50, $20, $10, $10, a $25, $100. These are recurring gifts that are being tripled right now. So and there's no shortage of funds to do it because we haven't used up our match. 888-291-8000. 11 lines open right now. The folks you'll be talking to are our colleagues right here in the building. They're happy to get you done real quick. 90 seconds. They can get all the information in and send you on your way. Or if you want to tell them your story, we love it when folks share with us why they listen or how they came to find us. All that, it's fun. Take your time and visit with them. 888-291-8000. Or the matches also apply to any money given at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. We're going to need a whole bunch of folks to make that $20, $50, $100 recurring pledge right now if we're going to use up those matches. Or we're going to need some folks to come in with larger donations. Could you do $1,000 right now? Could you do a $2,500 gift? If you could do that, you'd really help us move the needle towards using up all of that pledge money this hour. 888-291-8000 is the number, or go safe and secure online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
And Cy, at this point, we're not going to be able to fit any more calls in this hour. So now is an ideal time to call. You will not miss anything. You won't miss any answers. If you're listening to us right now, if you're on one of the stations that's still broadcasting at this time of day, if you're listening on YouTube or Facebook or via the Catholic Answers app, now is a great time to call. We only have 3 of our fellow employees who are taking calls right now. We have 12 who are just waiting to take your call. This is an ideal time to call because you won't miss anything. You will get through quickly. There are lots of lines that are open for you. It only takes just a few moments, just seconds really, to be able to give the information needed in order to make a donation. We do need to hear from you regardless of whether you're giving a larger gift or a smaller gift, whether you're increasing your current amount or making a new amount. The number to call, 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 291-8000.
We are under 11,000 to go. If we can, again, if we can put some large donations together with lots of folks calling for those monthly pledges that get tripled right now, we can do it. 11,000 to go, and our colleagues will stay on the line as long as you'll call 888-291-8000. After that, just go safe and secure online to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Can we do this $11,000 right now? We'll find out. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing, right here on Catholic Answers Live.